girls, what we're about to do today, boys and girls. Hi, my name is F the Police, and today we're going to learn about the police. Johnny, what did you learn about the police today? I learned they were no good. They shot my mama back last night in the back. I can't believe it. Debbie, what did they do to your mama? Same thing. They shot her in the back too. So who's taking care of all these kids? I don't know. We all just getting effed up now. Nobody takes care of us. We all kin down here. Kinfolk, you know? Like we down in this place called, what are we talking about? We in this place called Podunk Hillbilly Pritchard. Pritchard, Alabama, don't you know? We all redneck down here. But you know, it's okay to be incest down here in Alabama, don't you know? I mean, what could you be doing with yourself in Alabama with your second cousin? Get your hands off her, boy. Anyways, I mean, look, I'm just saying. There has to be. I mean, what the fuck, damn here you? So what in the Sam hell you doing, boy? I thought the only thing coming out of Alabama was Forrest Gump, then bubblegum shrimp and shrimp boating, and we doing some stuff down here in Alabama, but I wasn't quite sure what. Oh, what am I smoking today? Today. Well, I see cause I got high. Do, 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 do. You know, I was gonna go to court, but then I got high. No. I swear, man, I was gonna pay my child support. Nah, we ain't gonna start singing to you, right, Bird? Uh, look, we're not doing anything. Nothing's going on here. First, Bird's got that money. He said first, he got money. He's cash money. What are you smoking today? Anyways, make sure you put Bird's link down there because we are supporting Bird this fine day. That should have been the name of my stream is Support Bird Day. And what that fucking means to all you fucks who don't know what it means, and yeah, I'm calling you fucks today. Drop some money in Bird's PayPal as soon as he posts it. And if you keep listening to the garbage that I'm telling you, you'll only get stupider. So you should just go drop some money in a good supporter of the community. He's a family man and he likes his freedoms and he likes his freedom most of all. So he needs some fucking support from you fuckers that claim your support. So if you're not support, just get out. But if you want to come support a real good motherfucker at the top of the hill, then you better go support him, okay? Let's not play around. FTP needs a silver play button. Send my play button now. I got a million plus. That's all I see is a million plus, right? Someday I'll be somebody someday with the silver. No, I want the gold play button. I don't want the silver. I'll just go melt myself one. I'll make one. I'll probably get it quicker with the silver I got. I'll just pour it into a mold. We'll kiln it, and we'll be good to go. I need money for Freedom Stick. Oh, dude, you need a Freedom Stick? Hold up. Let's get this dude the Freedom Stick. Let's go. I wasn't gonna go on camera today, but we got the Freedom Stick right here. I walk tall, big stick, and it say FTP on it somewhere. Oh, Oh, right there, FTP stick. You need that walk tall, big stick. Get that. Yes, pray to the gods. Pray to the gods. Yes. Okay, that's it for the camera. Boom. Okay, look. Do we need a link? Oh. Aiden says link. Why we need a link here, man? We need a link. Do we need to get this party started? No. Do we? Hold on. Let me see what we can facilitate. First, we need Bird's link before my link ever gets posted. Okay. I say anybody, I say anybody that supports Bird gets the link. No, I'm just kidding. Let's play shenanigans today, shall we? Let's keep you waiting. You can't open your mouth till you put your money where your mouth is. I can't. I mean, I can't. How am I supposed to let you up, bro? How am I supposed to let you up? Bird, did you post your link? Post your link, man. Post your link. There it is. He put, yeah, you got the HTTP in there. Hopefully that came out right. Heck, I got his link, but I'd have to switch over. So the computer's idling, and we're just sitting on the phone. Post yours. No, I don't. Bird is the only one, man. If you knew what Bird did for us in these trying times, you would know that the CSU police, dude, that was an ugly display, and he made it further than FTP made it, bro. He ran. They violated that man's rights. So he needs that support, and people don't need to be, walking off at this point in the game. So let's make sure we give Bird some support. And if you ain't gonna give him some support, then you better just toddle your own ass off. You should get the out of here. All right. So what are we gonna do? We got some nice hair going on today. I know. Oh, just today is gonna all defend got Bird. I seen him earlier. I think he hit Bird up. He must be Bird is still on point. I give all my money to PDF, who gives it to Eric Brandt. Which so then in turn gets back to EB. And you're good to go. You're covered twice. That means King 9, you got a little bit more. I got FTP's merch. You still got that shirt? I thought that thing was gone forever. I ain't seen it in no group. Wow. One of the FTP originals shirts. King 9, man. I don't know, man. He did a fire piece on old Ricky boy, old Ricky Crudy. And let me tell you, it was a hot number. It was a hot mess. It was like, but when he did King 9, Will Village Idiot did it real good. So you go check out his latest video, King 9, about 300 subs. Go check him out. He's popping. He's on and popping. He knows how to do it. Let me come up. Aiden says, let me come up. Hey, Eric Brandt, what's up, baby? What? Eric Brandt? No. That's the celeb in the house. Look. No way. Eric Brandt? No. Oh, that means the link has to go out now. Just because. Not saying you got to come up. I'm just saying now it's got to go out. Hold on. We got to let the, what is it? The shenanigans. If I could get the link. Where's the link? Guess. Nobody said I knew what I was doing. This is my first time, dude. I never done this before. It's my first time. Please. Drop that money in Bird's fund so he can fly away out of the nest. One flew out of the cuckoo's nest. And don't ask me why. Just do it. Because I said to do it, and you want to be the biggest donor for FTP. And make sure you put FTP beside your donation. From FTP support. How about that? Okay. That's right. Bird right there. That little that comment right there. Hit up Bird. That freedom fighter. Full life. All right. We're putting this link out if I can figure out how to Hold up. Where'd it go? All right. Here's a link. A link. Look, there's 2 FTPs in the chat. How did that happen? How did that? Oh, there's somebody outside out back. What are you sending me an image for, man? I don't want, dude. Don't send me an image of that, man. That was disgusting. Jeez, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Gross. Don't send me that garbage. Just complete garbage. You don't even want to know what I just seen. I can't go back. I can't unsee what I just seen. Yeah, dang. Dang. What are we gonna do? Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Hold up, hold up. Let me it's the thought that counts, though. It's the thought that counts. It's the fact that you're FTP for life. That's all that matters. No, don't be mad, man. You know you're so it's YouTube, dude. You got to yell at the YouTube gods because the YouTube gods decide whether I go on or not at night. And apparently, I'm supposed to kowtow to YouTube, so we cannot go against. All installing closet drywall. Ooh, you got to get out of the closet. Get out of the closet, Bird. Bro, I knew it. Bird this whole time. Bird's in the fucking closet, dude. I fucking knew it. I'm just Okay. Oh, geez, where are all these people? We got now.
It's me. It's me.
Like, I bomb. What am I going to bomb with, the left one or the right one today?
How you doing tonight, man?
All right. Did you go donate to? You did earlier, didn't you? Did you donate?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, man. I did. And then I got him because he wasn't going to ask for donations on his own chat, so I asked for him.
That's right. See, the proud guy don't want to ask, but hey, I'll support. Hey, is my money in there yet? No, it's not. There's Ass Hattery 58. Was it a duck? I don't know what it was, but it looked big. I don't know, man. Was it?
You know what? I used word for word talking about it on a video that fucking Biden's press secretary said, and I didn't say anything else except for that. I made sure because I wanted to see how this went, right? And I got my channel shut down for that video.
What for?
I got a strike.
What?
For saying the same exact words that Biden's press secretary said about the vaccine. I got my channel struck. But she could say it to the nation. It makes no fucking sense. That's fucking bullshit.
We don't have any freedom of speech anymore.
I mean, I appealed it, but I mean, and I even made sure the one that I talked shit about it, I put it up, okay, and had it on. I had it.
Maybe you just got to say in my
on private, and I brought that one out. Said the same exact words, word for word, and they took my damn channel and struck it.
That's what. Yeah, well,
that's fucked up, ain't it?
How? So what are we on for strikes? How do we help this situation out?
The only way I could do it is to appeal it and show them the links like I did the last time, and probably wait about a half a month.
Wow. Yeah, because they don't answer requests that quick, do they?
No.
They're all at home during whatever, so they'll get you when they get to you. And
yeah, they're at home whacking their puds, having fun.
Issue they have, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. The one that I thought would get my channel shut down, was the one where I actually talked real shit about it.
We know.
What's up, gentlemen? Good evening.
Hey, Defend, what's up, man?
Oh, he donated to the fund also. I think I seen Defend's name on there. Yeah.
Well, you won't see my name on there. I put myself
Maybe
incognito.
I don't have I don't have a way to support monetarily, obviously due to my being on disability and not having a PayPal account myself. But in the spirit of all things and all ass hattery aside, I can give you mad props for continuing to support the community in the way that you see fit. I see Bird's comments in the chat, and I noticed News Now Tammy Lin's efforts earlier today, and kind of giving Bird the nudge to make the mention inside his chat and inside his stream that I jumped on earlier today. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, and I can back that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Appreciate it.
back it, but obviously you just said you did, so you know that just goes a long ways, right? Just in supporting what Bird does, and so that he knows that he's just not alone in the fight, and hopefully you don't feel like you're alone in the fight, and Eric doesn't feel like he's alone in the fight, and just in general, nobody has to feel alienated or alone in a fight for their freedom and their rights and their liberty and just to overall live. So I hope
the biggest thing I see with what Bird's doing, okay, eventually it could help us all, okay, and it takes that one fucking step to make something happen. He might be that one fucking step that makes something happen. That's all it takes.
And that's just it. When the one step, the one speaking out, the one that took the step at the Capitol, Tammy, or Defend that went into the courthouse and then gets assaulted and pushed down the stairs. It takes a step. Up, down, around.
A couple of steps for me.
Aiden says he's in the back.
Bro, it was
FTP.
ugly. And
Aiden says he's in the back, FTP.
Yeah, I can't let him on. I can't let him.
Oh, okay.
I'll get myself.
Okay. Just letting you know, making sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Backstage pass, baby. That's right, V7. He's a Buccaneers fan. I took all my money, right? So that's where I'm broke. I got to go back to the
V7. I agree. I agree with you on that, V7.
How do you feel, Defend? Okay, because I heard you the other night in 10th Man's room. Is that truly how you feel about the community? Or do you feel a connection with the community still?
You know, that's kind of one of those questions where I'm damned if I do, right? I've already been labeled a victim so many times. And my only retort that I can give to that is to hopefully see other people in the community that have seen me in the community for years and always standing up whenever I could, and to at least give credit where it's due in that regard, as far as to what my efforts were, irrespective of whatever the haters are going to say. But as far as my connectivity, as far as being supported, I guess I have to go. I have to lean far left on that one and say that due to my situation of not being able to play the game like most people can, as far as the community with editing and receiving donations and fundraisers and stuff like that. That's been a significant hindrance in being able to. There have been many people who wanted to support me. There have been many people out there. And when I first came to Colorado, I had almost $10,000 in available cash. All I had to do was say the word. But because I do follow the rules, because I don't break the law, and I don't do things underhanded, that just wasn't a reality for me. So there were people, and there may even still be people today that want to do that. It's just not in the cards for me. So I don't think it's necessarily all personal that I don't have that support. I think it's some of the dynamics I have in my life. But I do receive emails from time to time with great words of encouragement. So in that sense, I do feel supported.
Well, defend one thing I always respected you over is you're always fighting for disabled rights, and that's something that's dear and near to my heart, buddy. So
I
I
want
don't give
to.
a fuck what anybody says. If they can't think of one good thing to say about you, that's one good damn thing they could say the fuck about you. You're there and you're fighting in a trench that most people don't fight in.
Well, I appreciate that, Tammy. And uh, you, while you say most people don't fight in, it's just bringing awareness that that is a fight to be had, right? Like it's
Yeah,
something that's been around for 30 years that shouldn't even be, it shouldn't be a fight, right? It should just be
right.
there, the equality and the access and all of that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know that a gift, a free will donation, you can take. And so if there's in one way, because me and the city have went rounds and rounds about free will donations and what is accepted and what is not accepted by law. And I think after we were done splitting hairs and in a court battle that, yeah, I did lose. But I think at the end of the day, a free will donation's a free will donation. And when that cop came up and said, take that 20 out of your pocket, I respectfully declined. I said, you're going to have to come take it out of my pocket. And he didn't really want to push the issue. And what he did do was he sent the what is it called? The government, the IRS to my front door. I don't know what that's called, but they have field officers that come out and apparently investigate the piss out of you. But understand this, if you stick under the guise of free will donation, you are still doing the right thing. And for all parties involved and for all intents and purposes, that money can be given to you if you tip the tip jar, if you put on the tip jar, or you just say, if you do give, you give under free will donations. And maybe in a PayPal, you would put free will donations here.
That works. That works for taxes, right? As far as, you know, doing your paperwork at the end of the year and everything. And I've done a lot of research on this, and I've had a lot of people who thought I was just beyond the normal defend mentally fucked up in the head, you know, thought I was a little more mentally fucked up in the head than normal, who wanted to dispel the myth that I couldn't receive donations because of SSI as opposed to SSDI. And recently, I have found out in the past couple of months, let's say that I had a car insurance bill that was $180. You can't send me that $180 because that would be an income in the form of a gift.
Yes.
However, if I trusted you enough to give you my insurance account information, you could pay my bill directly as long as I don't receive that cash.
Yeah, you can't receive the cash in your hand or in a bank account.
And had I known this years ago, getting into this business, I mean, there were a couple of people that I have lost along the way that were great supporters and, you know, well off and financially stable individuals, right, who could help me out from time to time, and people that where I just drifted away from because they felt so straddled and not being able to help me, right? People that I may have considered then, before this very hostile landscape, to say, hey, here is my account number. If you want to help me, I can keep this $200 in my check so I can get from here to there and wait for my check to come next month and still have my insurance paid as long as I don't receive that money. It would have been the same thing. It would have just been a redirection of the money as long as I didn't receive it. But that's the only way that, yeah, as we were talking about, you know, like receiving money or whatever. And unfortunately, there just isn't anybody I trust in the YouTube world. Just seeing too many people. Yeah.
I don't want you to be scared either, because I think that that's holding this whole I can't. I said it for so many years. I said it for so long. And eventually I started adopting the attitude I can with your help. I can with other people's help. I can when other people get behind me. I can when the community gets
Oh,
behind
no doubt. I never let the I can't. I put my ass in the fire for many people in this community. You right now are doing a lending support to Bird, and I'm not sure if you're aware, FTP. I saw an atrocity that was happening with the Bird situation, and I went up there and I tested the CSU police and told them, look, you're going to have to arrest me and my service dog because I'm going there right now. So tell me if it's a public road or a private road. And they acquiesced. They did not want to do that because of the situation with the Bird. And they didn't want the Bird to have that information. They wanted to pocket that shit and try to figure a way to wigwam out of it. And I put them on notice. I am here, motherfuckers, and I am going there. Would you like to have your officers give me a chaperone ride, follow me to Rampart Road, because I am going to film my service dog and her training on what I believe to be the public road. And unless you tell me differently, I'm going to assume it's a public road. Are you going to arrest me? And the answer ultimately was no, and I will advise the next shift.
That's huge.
I couldn't give money. But I had gas in my tank, and I happened to be in Colorado. So
yeah, you're still reporting, and that's the point, is fact checking what the foundation that Bird and 303 have already put out, and now going back and re-auditing it, investigating to make sure
follow up.
It's not all
follow up.
Hey, Big Daddy.
What's up again?
Hey, Minnesota now.
Hey guys.
Thank you for just being. This is all in the name of Bird. It's all in the name of 303 Cop Block. It's all in the name of anyone who gets arrested while doing a lawful activity. Hats off to you. Couldn't do it without you. Hey, Minnesota News Now.
FTP, do you want another exclusive video? I'll give you the second half of the video we watched last time, is what Bird said.
I'm good, Bird. I'm trying to think of the second half of the... I'm trying to think about the video.
Where he walked up to the cop. Where you stand on the sidewalk a few feet away from me.
Oh, we never got the end of the flashlight video?
Yeah, the where he was like just a couple foot away and freaked the cop out some.
I don't even know if I can share it from here because I'm on my phone now. That's this whole excuse thing, right?
That's why you got a weird ass clicking noise in your sound.
Gotta go get a pair of headphones, right? Yep.
Let me go do that. I've got 2 police chases going on right now in St. Paul.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Like I just had a shooting the other day out in Buffalo. Like, I need help out here. And the media is reporting lies.
Yeah, your place is like fucking crazy. You're gonna have to do piece of shit.
Yeah, I want to know who wants to come out here to Murderapolis.
Murderapolis.
It's Murderapolis?
It's back.
Who? Well, when I was there, someone got hit by the Cheesecake Factory. Someone got shot. Murderapolis. It used to be Chirac. Now it just moved to... What did I do with my... Hold on. I'm trying to get my...
Are you talking about Buffalo, New York, or Buffalo, Minnesota?
Buffalo, Minnesota. Like,
okay.
Like, this isn't even big enough for what we need out here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm giving up.
Yeah, man, your area is like freaking batshit crazy right now.
Dude,
Straight
I'm
up.
literally, I've been recording audio of 2 chases in St. Paul live.
Wow, 2 of them going on right now at the same time.
Yeah, one, I think they just caught both suspects. The other one, they got another one going. And this is St. Paul. St. Paul is a no pursuit policy. So,
Wow.
you know it's bad.
Yep.
I'm done.
It's horrible down there. Huh?
You can only
Dude,
cover so much, man.
On a side note, you know, if you layer up a bunch of fiberglass, it makes a bulletproof vest. Just
Yep, you're
FYI.
Yep. I did that experiment, man. Did you how many layers are you at with yours?
Hold on.
Just
2,
just
3,
remember when you put that thing together and it goes under your armpits, you want something on them edges to keep that fiberglass from getting up under your armpits. That shit will eat your ass alive if you don't. Don't forget that.
The good news is 3 weeks. That's what we got. 3 weeks till the trial.
I'm excited for that, bro. I should be down there for that. Once again, the date is the 6th or the 4th.
I think the 8th. Someone told me the 8th. I haven't really researched it because I had the active shooter and bombs explosion out in Buffalo. Dude, it's a full-time job
I remember
now.
that. I remember watching something on that.
Just watch it. They might reschedule all that too with all the chaos and mayhem because it's going to be a high-profile court case. So it might get rescheduled around. So they'll do that either at last minute too, just to save, especially if they have too many people converging, especially with like the siege on the Capitol and all that other crazy shit. So they will move shit around like that.
Did they catch that guy that did that there about at that clinic or the people?
Yep, he's alive.
Okay. The reason I was wondering is a lot of this shit's all of a sudden happening, and they're just now trying to pass all these freaking things in Congress at the same exact time. I mean, the longest chase ever in United States history for a car. Okay. And all they did was preach the same freaking talking points that they've been preaching to pass trying to pass these laws in Congress. Mental stability, guy using a gun in a commission of a crime, and then running from the cops and putting the cops in fear of them being shot. Now, let me tell you something. I was watching Smoke Scan 3 months ago. Them damn LAPD, they ran up on a guy that was doing 90 mile an hour, pitted his ass while he was shooting out his window with an AK-47. Okay? And pitted his ass, ran him into the fucking wall. Do you think they're afraid of getting shot? No, they weren't. So needless to say, that was the biggest put on show I ever seen. Now, let me bring up the FBI being shot down in Miami. I got one question. Since when has hospitals kept coffins at the hospital to put a body in?
When they were prepared?
To transport a body to a morgue to get an autopsy. Okay. Since when did they have a flag at the hospital to put over said coffin that they are transporting the body to the morgue to do an autopsy on?
I'm not sure. Who were they transporting? Was it the FBI agent bodies, or
it was supposedly one of the FBI agent bodies. Now, my question also is, because I know FBI agents down there in Florida, I've seen them a million times down there. They go to restaurants in their goddamn body armor. Okay. Why did they go to a place where they're doing a bust where they knew there would be guns without their bulletproof vest on and body armor on?
Well, it's policy for those guys to actually wear fucking bulletproof vests.
That's what so why didn't they have it on? Why didn't they have it on when they went to go bust this child pornography ring?
That's not a need to know thing, unless they were in one of those undercover bits and they couldn't wear anything.
I doubt they were when they're going in to go bust that fucking place. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's up to the individual to wear body armor. I know, I've been there.
Well, I can tell you now, down in Florida, every FBI agent you've ever seen, that you'll ever see down there, has their body armor on. Period. End of statement. And I'm talking, that's just to go sit down and have a freaking hamburger at McDonald's.
Well, now it looks just like a regular dress top, you know, like a regular suit top piece. You've seen them all the time. You get up close and you can actually see it. It's a vest that mimics what they're wearing, literally.
Right.
Or, you know, it's, you know, straight flat. You can't even tell it's underneath the t-shirt, depending on the level of protection you want. But I know there's a standard for it. Sorry, Jason.
No, I mean, when I worked for the company I worked for, we were selling to Miami-Dade PD, and they refused to wear body armor because it was A, too hot and they'd die, or B, whatever they're getting shot with was go through it. You know, it's if you can see them wearing body armor, you can point them out as a Fed. So they don't wear body armor either. I mean, it's you know, the more you know, the more you wish you didn't know.
Let's even drop that subject. Again, let's go back to when did hospitals keep coffins around to put bodies in to take them to the morgue for an autopsy?
Yeah, when did that start?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. And when did they also have flags laying around to drape over the said coffin that had said body in it, going to the morgue to have an autopsy? And since when did they start putting bodies in coffins before they had an autopsy?
So I've got a question for. Go ahead, Big Daddy. I didn't see you click on.
Sorry. So I know in the beginning of all this stuff too, like FEMA, they had FEMA. I don't know if you guys ever seen FEMA coffins or not. They're just, you know, quick resin fiberglass.
Yep.
Coffins.
Disposable coffins.
Yep. So, you know, I was hauling truckloads of them and stuff like that. And then I know in some of the big cities when people are just dying and everything like that, they would they'd rent out semi-trailers, because I think we actually lost 2 or 3 at my company I'm at. But, you know, they would refrigerate the bodies and stuff. And then some of the cities, they were just huge, like empty Walmart distributions, you know, for use like a Walmart distribution size parking lot. There was just shit tons of reefer trailers run out of fuel, and there's just bodies in there. And the media, I think CNN started covering that, and all of a sudden it just vanished. But there was literally semis, loads of trailers of bodies with these coffins stacked inside of them. And like, you couldn't get to one of your loved ones at whatsoever. Like, I mean, there's still people trying to identify their bodies right now and stuff. But like, you know, when all this crazy shit happened and everything with all these bodies and shit piling up, they just turn around, they put them on boats, put them in shipping containers inside reefers, semi-trailers. And it would just be that crazy. But, you know, right now I'm sure they have it all taken care of by now. But I know we personally lost at my company 2 semi-trailers to that shenanigans. You know, my boss is like, I don't want it back. And the government just went, here you go, here's the money. You know, give us the shit, and then done. So that's the end of that story.
So yeah, huge shout out to M-Star Media, as you saw the banner put up there with her stopping in. She's awesome to see her out. But I wanted to ask or make a statement to Minnesota News Now, because being somebody with a hearing disability and reading body language and trying to feel the context that's being communicated, I sense a lot of frustration and wishing that he could do more. But most notably, I noticed in his last making a statement here before Big Daddy started speaking was, I believe he said, and feel free to correct me, panel, if I misunderstood. The more you know, the more you know, the more you wish you didn't know. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I empathize with that statement because um, there is, there's a reason why in this community that when it all started out with filming and it being a purpose of education and everything was to wake up the sheeple, right? Like, hey, we're seeing this and we don't know how to live with knowing this, right? So other people need to know about this so we can figure out how to deal with this. So I feel your pain when you say the more you become aware, the more you wish you were kind of in that sheeple frame of mind as far as being able to go through your day with your day-to-day blinders on, because ultimately it's, for many of us, it's extremely hard you can't ignore it, right? So you got to do something with it. And that's what I believe that being active and getting out there and using the camera and getting the education out was kind of the elixir, if you will, or a salve, or being able to do something with a newfound reality of what's actually going on, as opposed to not ever having seen that before, being a sheeple. So don't feel that you're alone in that regard, my man. I don't think my words can give you, the solace that you're looking for or may need, but just know that you're not alone. You're heard.
Dude, I know a little bit about what you're going through in a different circumstances type wise, but the lawlessness that happened afterwards was still just as bad, and that was when there was a major hurricane that hit Alabama, and when the tidal wave came in with the hurricane, it knocked a bunch of buildings down and everything. It knocked out all sorts of utilities, everything else like that. But the lawlessness that came after that, especially when people weren't able to eat, get fresh water, didn't know how to do it, whatever. It's similar to your circumstance, but it didn't last near as long as the circumstances you have now, because they were able to put some type of law back into it, in about a month and a half's time. So I know on a small scale of what you're going through. I've seen it with my own two eyes. So I wished I could help you. I really do. Hey, M-Star.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, like all of us, we get multiple emails from multiple people because everybody needs help. And, I never knew, like, being in the fire service and public safety sector, we help people, but, when we package them into an ambulance, they lived, right? Like that's how we kept going. At the end of the day, though, the more and more we dig into it, we're always learning, right? That's the whole point of this is growing, learning, asking questions. With this clinic that got shot up, I sit there and I was in the press conference, and then today I watched mainstream report the opposite of what was actually happened. No explosive happened, but mainstream is reporting that. And it's how do we sit there and report the facts and get the support from our community? And that's the frustration, right? And I'm gonna tell you right now. Earlier, and here's the kicker. Earlier this summer, I actually filmed the COVID testing site at that clinic. Had two nurses come out. I don't know if one of them is the one that died or one of them is the one that got shot. And I'm sitting here going, well, they came out like Gestapo, right? Like they always do with us filming. But Buffalo PD was great. The one cop, actually is sergeant that responded, actually carries a copy of the Constitution with him. And I can relate to the PD out there. It's rural, right? So they're very constitutional oriented, both PD and Sheriff's Department. and they're
That's
calling
freaking
mini.
awesome to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's in one sense I was relieved knowing I'm going out there, going to be protected, and have our rights as the Constitution by the PD, like what they swore an oath to. On the second, though, I sit there and have to go, how is this going to be spun by mainstream to go massive shooting, massive incident, and how all the we need. And I actually had a comment and on one of my because I think I did 2 or 3 lives, sitting there going, well, one guy's going, well, we need a 10-day waiting period in Minnesota. We have that. We need red flag warnings. It doesn't matter. And Abbott has a no weapons, no guns and dangerous weapons policy. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to tie this in. And then with the carjackings, and literally right before I jumped on here, I'm sitting here listening to the scanner going, should I go? They have a police chase in St. Paul, which is a no pursuit policy. They shouldn't have been chasing this car. I don't. They had to do one of the 7 deadly sins to chase this car. How do I go cover this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so overwhelming that I can't cover everything that we need to be covering out here. I've got Big Daddy News Wisconsin out there that's got a restraining order from the city. How do I cover that? How do we cover what we need to cover? And then, you know, with Defend, and I don't know the full story of it, and I want you to email me so I can get your phone number so I can hear your side. But the drama of our community, we need to pull it together because we all need to support each other. And even if we don't get along, that's okay. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I need help. I need help out here in Minnesota. We're in the midst of the worst of the worst. And I've dealt with it from the public safety side, and nothing that I've been trained in can prepare me for what we're going to go through, what we're going through right now, and about what we're going to go through.
Yep. Actually, what we're about to go through as a country, I don't think the country's prepared for. Even though I keep preaching, you need to prepare for it in different ways, how you can prepare for it. But I'll tell you now, until you see it with your own 2 eyes, you'll never be prepared.
That's true.
They have no idea. Look, the news has no idea how together they need to have their crap right now. I'm saying the news outlets. You can't be reporting biasly because we see it. I hope that's the right word, and I'm using and thinking of the right word.
With bias.
And that could be with bias. With are you? Oh, so you can't be reporting with bias. Exactly.
Right.
The point is we don't want to hear it anymore. And it's only so long until the entire American people wake up and start almost being outraged at what is being actually reported versus what's actually happening. And I think that's what he's saying is the help is you don't even know where to start because it's so broken on so many levels. You're sitting there looking at it going, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start filming at. I don't know where to get on the ground. You need a team of hundreds. You would need to hold accountable every faction that is falling down on their job. It's hard. And like I said, I always say this, Big Daddy News is Big Daddy News's biggest advocate in Wisconsin. Okay, but other people are going to say, no, it's all of us collectively. It's all them phone calls. It's all. But I've even noticed that sometimes the phone calls are now falling upon deaf ears. And sometimes the phone calls are even hurting more than helping. And they're getting us in trouble. They're getting. So I'm like, at what point, again, it's the collective of what are we going to do?
And that's what I think the currently the ultimate question is, particularly with the censorship going on. I just saw Liberty Freak posted in Jeff
Damn,
Obscure Live's panel earlier that the Masters report with 173,000 subscribers was erased today.
They took him
so
down. They took him out.
He's
Are
done.
you
He's gone. His
sure
channel's
about that?
gone.
What?
If
He's
somebody would look
got his
if
MeWe
somebody would
page.
look
You
it
can
up
go
and
to.
verify it, I don't
I'll
know
look it up
Liberty.
right now.
I do not know Liberty Freak to have any reason to make a misstatement like that for whatever
But I'll
reason.
look right now to just get you a second opinion on it.
Well, I know they are
Definitely.
labeling some of us as sovereign citizens on, with the Wikipedia definition and everything like that, on some of our pages and stuff.
So what a
So
lot
he
of people
can't
don't
be.
what a lot of people don't
Holy shit, it
understand
is.
is if you look
It's
up
gone.
No way.
Master Report is gone.
Yep.
How many
Okay, so
followers
it's
did
confirmed.
he
Yep.
have?
Yep, Masters report.
173,000 subscribers.
No.
Well,
That's not
well,
even right.
And one thing I can tell you too, with I don't know if you guys follow Rowdy Podcast. I did a lot of. I was his co-host. He's a ranger. He's not active right now, but he's got resources too, like I do. They're looking at labeling all of us as domestic terrorists and enacting the Patriot Act on us.
Yep.
And the sad thing is so he can't do audits anymore. He because he's a ranger, he's a following. He's shot up way past me, which I'm proud of everyone. I don't hold any animosity towards anyone that gets more subs than me. I do what I do. We all do what we do. We're all individuals. But the sad thing is the government's attacking every single one of us. And I can tell you right now in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and it's spreading so fast. They come out and go, be a good victim. Give them your car keys, give them your wallet, your cell phone, and everything with the carjackings that we have. That I don't even know how to cover this anymore. It's spreading into the suburbs. It's spreading out, and I'm actually looking at leaving the state because our state does not have a castle law. Our state is be a victim, be a good victim, call government, they'll come and save you. And I can tell you my response to that is right here. And I'm not going to show you on video, but you can hear it.
Yep.
I'll be judged by 12 before I be carried by 6.
Exactly.
Right.
So now comes the hard question. And the hard question for me is, do we all stand up and fight and then meet the guillotine to where there are no more dissenters to be heard? Or do a certain portion of us who are, awakened go underground, such as your friend, the Ranger, I believe you said his, I didn't catch his name, but you said he was a
Rowdy.
Ranger or something.
Yeah, right.
So that may be his choice right now, strategically saying, you know what, this is becoming too hot of an issue. There aren't enough people out there speaking. If I'm the last to speak, I need to keep my ass alive or keep myself in a position to where I can be effective when I do speak. So
Right.
The question is, and it's a really hard question to ask, and I wrestle with it in the 1A community when it's all about speaking. It's all about getting the information out there. It's all about putting your name, your face, being the one to put your foot forward, questioning if the ultimate goal is the maintaining of our rights and standing for our rights. Are we not all just lining up for suicide and minimalizing all of our work thus far by all of us being active, right? And who's not going to be active, and what do we be active about? What are we going to be able to be active about when YouTube has this very long list of don't say these words or your channels aren't going to get, they're going to be shadow banned, or they're not going to get the the referrals to people's channels, to people's sites, to be able to look at your be exposed to your content. It's getting even more murkier than I'd have ever conceptualized. So
Or
it's
thought
hard.
that it was going to be.
I kept telling y'all it was going to become just like it was over
Well-
there when they were doing the revolt over there in Egypt, and they started out doing the same exact thing, and then eventually they even shut down the whole fucking internet for almost 2 years over there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
I remember that.
I
And
can't
and they're
even.
doing the same exact thing here now.
Well,
So now,
well,
so let me ask you guys this question: the internet gets shut down tomorrow. How do we keep doing? How do we do our work?
The best
That's
way
exact-
you can do it then
We
is
do
you're
it
going to
in
have
our
to
own
go.
communities, and we don't quit.
You're
The
going to
biggest
have
thing
to
is
go
that
with
we-
static. You're going to have to go do
Yes.
static, and then you're going to have to
Have
get
to
the people,
upload.
and then you're going to
Yeah.
have to fucking you're going to have to get the people to come to you in a community, like at a town hall meeting type setting. Then you're going to have to fucking show the shit, and hopefully these people will be smart enough to get it out by word of mouth.
And
I
if we can foresee that, then isn't that something we should be laying the groundwork for now?
Yes.
I've been preaching that, and I've been trying.
So if you guys ever watch North Idaho? I forget the channel. I'm sorry. I've had a few adult beverages here lately.
North Idaho
But-
exposure,
Think so. He talks about doing
something
getting
close
his
to that.
Yeah. So he's got his ham license. And I can tell you right now, one of the first things we can do is get, and I've got several different radios. Start getting different radios. One
So
thing we
David
need
Bourne,
to
a
do.
well-known name in his community, is confirmed. It's North Idaho exposure.
Do yourself a favor if you're going to
Perfect.
do that. Go to an old if you got one around you, go to an old military surplus store or
Yep.
something like that,
Or
and get
truck
one of
stop
the
with
old
CVs
tube
would have them
style.
too.
Get one of the old tube style radios because they
Yes.
can EMP pulse the new radios
Well,
and shut them down.
And here's the thing with that too, and I don't know, I haven't heard anything in the news. Russia and China have been working on that. They've launched them actually into the atmosphere. They can hit us with
Dude.
EMP blasts.
Dude, let me tell you something. In Arkansas, down there in northwest Arkansas in 1999, they hit the whole area with an EMP pulse because there was people going around blacking out the whole fucking area with their major radios. And the only people that had radios left were the ones that had the old tube style radios. They burnt every other freaking radio up. It
I
was
do know there
done.
is sorry.
Go ahead.
There is another. So I reach out. I reach out to some of my local militia people and stuff like that, and I talk to them about the ham license and some other stuff. And 2 years ago, I had someone turn me on to it's called the ZERT. The zombie eradication team thing. You pay
Mhm.
like a fee once a year for it, but it gets you into the doors. They have like all these people, it's everyone from every little walk of life, every little thing. It's called ZERT. Like the CERT, like each county has a CERT. This is called ZERT. It looks weird and it looks just like a paid gimmick. You pay license and you get I shoot zombie gear and all this other shit. But there's a lot of knowledgeable people on there, preppers. And then like for ham, I'm in the process of studying right now for my ham license, going to get my ham and stuff like that. Because I already bought one of those. They're called Beifong. They're like $25 or $30 off Amazon, and you're supposed to be really good little radios. I just don't use it because I don't have my ham's license. I don't want to get popped.
Mhm.
But you can broadcast all the way across the nation with this little guy
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, the Bonfi UV5 are the most
Yep.
popular.
Yep.
And if you can get them,
And
get
I
the
tell you
cord,
now,
get the
also, one thing I would suggest getting also is yourself a drone that's big enough to fly so you can look and do a two-way on that, so you know what's coming. I'm telling you that now. You're gonna want that.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, everyone keeps talking about these being limited quantity. The problem is it's one shot, okay, one time use, right? You guys want to be really, really good and proficient with your land, your areas. These preppers seem extremist. They're not wrong. Even movies, right? I mean, look at the last Rambo movie, right?
Mhm.
Movies work. If we look at the Tennessee thing that happened and look at the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, take out the gun and put an explosive there. Literally happened the same way. And I'm definitely not an conspiracy theorist type of person. I'm all about facts. Our government doesn't work that efficient. I know, I've worked it. A lot of people I know have worked it. There's too many flags that are being raised that are red, and they don't make sense. Everything I believed in when I started growing up, going into that field, doesn't make sense. And I can tell you that most of Minnesota is, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air talking to deputies, talking to police officers here. They agree with what we're talking about. Most of them are owners. Most of them understand. They're not gonna. They understand our rights because they understand that if they infringe. I know Rowdy. I've talked to him about him talking about Congress passing a bill saying that law enforcement can raid homes and confiscate guns without warrants. Goodbye, Fourth Amendment.
Dude, what do you think 2,000 deputized freaking U.S. Marshals are about?
Well, and I got kicked out of the federal courthouse in Minneapolis because I was trying to get a 1983 packet.
Yeah.
And because I was
How
filming
is
in
that possible? Explain how that happened.
I don't know. I'm getting ready. It's like I'm so far. Every day I get 3 days behind. Every 3 days I get a year behind. I can't even get the information out there to people
Mhm.
as fast as it's happening.
Yep, you're right on that.
It's yesterday's news a minute after it happens. It's so scary right now. And this is Minnesota, right? Minnesota. I never thought here this would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you now, from what I've been seeing left and right, you're right on that. It seems like every time when you know something's happened, you got the information, you're already a month late. There's already something new coming out. It's already 300 new fucking stories that you got to go get information for before you can, and you just got out this one.
And here's two things I see with that. I see desensitization for the people that are paying attention, right? Like they're not ultimately shocked anymore because they just see so much of it. And I also see the inability of the government. Now, brace yourselves when I say this, okay? To be able to effectively manage public health.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So what I say by that is one contingent and very real fear that I've been noticing the past couple of months, that when I'm thinking in my deep thought process, is what is it potentially in a visionary sense going to look like? Okay, a natural disaster happens here. This is misreported over here. There's people storming government buildings, whatever the case, whatever political events, whether they're real or they're not. That's the information that's out there. Everybody has to wrestle with the contention of worrying about their loved ones, their elders, their siblings, their children, um, and everybody's button heads, trying to figure out from whatever walk of life or whatever perspective they've had up until this point in time, and this has become a very real reality,
Well,
right? So how, what is? I hear everybody saying, you know, the government having the right to come in and take your guns. No, 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 we can't allow that. We can't allow that. But yet at the same time, I'm saying, well, if everybody's allowed to have their guns and there's a whole bunch of fucking people freaking out, somebody screaming fire in a movie theater, and people are getting stampeded on, and there's people out there all racking up with their guns. And trust me, gentlemen, when I say this to you, I'm not a gun person, but I firmly believe in the Second Amendment. I understand the premise behind, the right to bear arms.
There's a time and there's a place where it
And that's
becomes
what, and
appropriate.
that's my problem. I do not foresee people being able to discern the right time or the right place with the overstimulation, the over information leading to disinformation and ultimate distrust, to the point to where it's labeled as conspiratorial when it's no longer conspiratorial. It's very real.
It's real factual. Yeah, it's
Can
factual.
you see what I'm saying?
When does it go factual? Well, they're not going to tell you when it goes factual, because
No.
that's the purpose of misleading you.
Well, I can speak a little bit on that. So here's the problem. I've been through all the training law enforcement goes through. I qualified when I was 14 to carry a firearm. I've been through, I was a police explorer. I did all sorts of things, right? So here's the problem. The problem is it's not just a firearm. It's what you're going to shoot your target, what's past your target, what your target is, what your multiple threats are. Is it worth pulling a firearm out? When is it worth pulling your firearm out? When is it going less than lethal? How to use your verbal skills, how not to use your verbal skills. There is so many things that have to register through your head in literally a tenth of a second that people don't understand, right? And that's the problem. So in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, Minneapolis metro area, okay, Twin Cities metro, when we have a carjacking, in Minnesota, we do not have a castle law. I spent some time down in Georgia, which, again, if you take both states and you learn from both, right? Good pros and cons. The castle law allows you to use deadly force to protect yourself and your property. In Minnesota, we have a duty to flee, meaning you can't use deadly force to protect yourself unless you're trapped. You cannot use deadly force to protect your property. It's that's just it, how it is.
that's fucked up.
And
really
castle
fucked up.
law, hey, Minnesota News Now. And castle law comes from England, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's where castle law originated, and then eventually, I guess, it comes over here. But so South Dakota, I believe, has.
You guys have a castle law.
But who follows that, you can't tell, because, we've already kind of outplayed that, or come close to outplaying that when it comes to police, when it comes to qualified immunity. Guess who's overriding your laws? But go ahead.
Well, qualified.
Allow me to jump in here for a second, and I just want to make sure that we're being. Well, we may understand these terms on the panel that we're being inviting to and giving the opportunity for others in the chat to learn. When you refer to castle law, are you referring to the no duty to retreat, stand your ground law?
Yes. That's
Okay,
exactly
so-
what it is.
Okay.
I'm going to
That
try and
is-
monitor.
Your house is your castle, correct?
Your house is your castle. Your vehicle is your castle, but with less protection. It's more your chariot, right? We go back to medieval times. It's all about wording and and attorneys are actors. Your judge is your audience. You know, your so the thing is, at the end of the day, the way the law is written specifically, I don't know about Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin may have a castle law. I'm not too sure on that. Big Daddy, I don't know if you know.
I know I read it when I was going through my lawsuit.
Yeah, I'm not
and
really
I wanted
too sure on that one. To be honest, I don't think
wanted
I've
to
ever
know
really
if
looked into that. I should,
So in
though.
Colorado, your car is as equal as your home.
Okay. In Georgia, it's the same way.
In
So,
Florida,
like,
your car is equal to your home as well.
Yep,
I
Florida
know,
is too. Georgia is the same way. Because I'll be honest, I was cutting down a tree in the backyard of a house I was working on, and I could have shot the people that were trying to take my truck. And when the cops came out, they're like, why didn't you? They're humans. They did into the truck. But that was easy. They want it easy, just like all cops. Anyway, so going into this, people need to understand in Minnesota, our Minneapolis Police Department and the mayor of Minneapolis came out and they said, hey, give your keys, give your wallet, give your cell phone, give everything. Hey, will you be a victim? My argument, and I actually talked to some of the Wright County, which was this shooting out in Buffalo, Minnesota, and actually some of the Buffalo police officers. I talked to them too, and I'm like, well, what if we came out, if Minneapolis PD and the mayor came out, and Ramsey County Sheriff, which Bob Fletcher does a live on patrol on YouTube and Facebook, what if they came out and they said, hey, we're going to train you if you want to learn. We're going to put you through the FAT simulator, which it's an acronym for shoot, don't shoot, which law enforcement goes through. We're going to expedite your purchase. In Minnesota, we have a carry permit. It doesn't matter, exposed or concealed. It covers both. We're going to train you to law enforcement level. We are going to encourage you to carry a firearm, and we're going to educate you in the laws to protect you, not your property, because you can use deadly force to protect yourself, but not your car.
Legitimize militia?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, as a human being,
that's what I'm sensing here. I'm sensing a legitimizing of a militia.
Right. And because there's not enough law enforcement out there, and again, Supreme Court's ruled they don't have to protect you. But if they came out and they said this, and they made it very public, Marietta, Georgia did this back, I think, in 1990. They had a rash of home invasions. The city council came and said every homeowner has to have a firearm in their home. Home invasions stopped because criminals want easy targets.
They made it. There's a county in northwest Arkansas that they made it mandatory for you to have a gun in your home to live in the county. And guess what? They went from being they were as far as home invasions going, they were getting up there as much as Chicago in that county. Okay, they almost when they made that mandatory, it went to almost nothing, and within a matter of months. I'll tell you that now. So I think mandatory owning one is a good thing.
Now I'll play devil's advocate.
Because besides
there are some homes that have individuals who have mental disabilities who may not meet the standard which may be societally acceptable, and out of public safety, the wisest idea of requiring to have firearms in their homes.
I can tell you right now, that's where they're spinning this in Buffalo, Minnesota. They're spinning this towards he has had Probably over 10. Well, and I think 2 years ago there was a restraining order put out against this individual that shot up the clinic. They're already trying to go mental illness. Here's the thing: if we really want to do mental illness, we need to look at Nixon's war on drugs. Let's really dig into this. How far do we want to go? And that's the thing. The more you know,
I think you might be.
the
I think
worse
you might
it
be
makes
surprised
it.
how far we already have gone when it comes to the obliteration of disability rights, and the silencing of those disability rights, which has left a huge part of the mental health argument as far as the positive note of the rights as being a patient, right to medical privacy, et cetera, using the jailing system to document all as many as individuals who may not be able to fit the mold of a 9 to 5 job and have the best of luck of being able to accomplish a home and get trapped into the paying a mortgage and everything else and having a family and all of that. All of the individuals that weren't able to make it easier on the government in a subservient sense, we're getting rounded up by the police at every opportunity. You look at them, you say, boo, oh, you're crazy. Next thing you know, you're getting a shot of ketamine, you're off to jail, and 2 hours later, you're in front of some 21-year-old college degenerate that just graduated 2 days ago for, mental health therapy, to be a mental health therapist or a clinical licensed social worker who's asking you these questions, and you don't even know what your rights are because you haven't been educated about your rights for the last 20 years in this country in our schooling system. So everybody's just giving this information voluntary. They're ending up on lists. Red flag laws are coming, and it's a complete shit show. So I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's more accurate to take it from the point of how far has it already gotten as far as red flags and using mental health and taking away of rights. And if we
Well,
start if we focus and we are sure to at least keep as a question what about the disabled and what about the constitutional rights of the disabled afforded through the Americans with Disabilities Act, then we can kind of keep the conversation more honest
well, let
moving
me tell
forward.
you about one of the red flag laws that they're using right now. Shoot the motherfucker, then say he's got mental illness.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
and that's prevalent. I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak over you. I just want to respond to this. That's extremely prevalent when the majority, at least in my experience, of any extreme situation reported by mainstream media always has the connotation to it, and the individual suffered from XYZ mental illness. They always made it a point to put that out there to program people to become very used to seeing crime equated with mental illness.
Even if they didn't have it. And it's like that. I'm going to go back to what I talked about just a little bit ago with that guy in California that did the longest ever slow speed chase in the history of the United States. All they preached for 5 hours and 10 minutes was the guy was mentally ill, used a gun in the commission of a crime, and they were afraid the cops were going to get shot. And then I sat there and watched the end of that video. And for 5 minutes, there was a cop going through that car trying to find a gun and never found that gun in 5 minutes' time. And then they finally cut the video off. So you see what I'm saying? That right there, that was
I can take you back one step farther. Do you remember when the police used a baton and there was a really weird camera angle on that and was chopped up by mainstream media?
Yeah.
Where it looked like the cops were just pounding this guy. Now, again, I can look at it from both sides because I've lived on both sides of this world. I'll just put it out there. My cousin lived in the other side of this world, and he explained it to me very well. He goes, Jason, you know that side of the world because you've responded to that. You've seen the death. You've seen the horror of that, but you've never lived that. And so the best way I can see it is it's like Batman Begins, and where, Bruce Wayne, experienced that because his dad got killed, right? And his mom and dad got killed. But none of us really know what it's like to live, to know what it's like to eat, unless we've lived it, right? And
Right.
we always assume that, and again, you guys seen my videos, I'm white. But a lot of people don't realize that, when I grew up, my mom used paper food stamps, and you counted out the change because they didn't give change back on those paper food stamps.
I
It's not like
remember
what we
those.
have today.
Yeah, you
And-
used to
Remember
have to
those.
go in and get 25 cents to get the rest of your dollar back to go do your laundry down at
Yep.
Yep.
Been there. We did that when I was about from the time I was about 8 to 12.
the Tootsie Rolls.
Before
are the
that, we
cheapest
hunted
thing
our
you
own
can
food,
buy.
poached our own food.
Yep.
Get a Laffy Taffy.
And a lot of people, and if we stop the divide of this and we start uniting, and this is one thing I try to preach over and over again, until we talk, 90% of the people I talk to agree and have common ground. It's the 10% that we might have disagreements on, but that is a good thing. That is what keeps our country going. This is what we need to talk about. And if we don't talk about it in Buffalo, Minnesota, Wright County, 90% of the sheriff's department out there and police department, in fact, the video when I was filming the COVID testing site, that sergeant carried the Constitution with him. The only officer I've ever met that carries a copy of the Constitution with him in his patrol car.
Go to Northwest
was
Arkansas,
paid to do
South,
what it did. I
South
went-
Central Missouri. You'll see it.
Well, and this is the thing, and when we need to glorify these agencies that are doing the right thing, because one thing I can tell you, working on both sides, as a frontline officer, they are put in such a problem and a shitty situation. I mean, I'm just going to say it, a shitty situation. Either they disobey an order and stand on the Constitution and get in trouble and reprimanded or fired for it, or they're going to stand on the Constitution and defend it. And from what I'm seeing in Minnesota, which we're a blue state, if you believe in that, I really don't. I'm very libertarian. These officers do not want tyranny. Most of our officers want what we want, right? We and they started in a career of law enforcement to do better for our community, to uphold the Constitution. The problem is the bullshit politics start to play a role in this. And if we don't sit there and help the good officers defend the Constitution and get rid of the bad officers, I can tell you in Atlanta, when I was working in Atlanta, every home I worked on, they all told me I should be an Atlanta cop. I told them absolutely not, because I'll be the first one on that search warrant, and for some reason I'll be shot in the back of my head with friendly fire. And this is one thing we don't about, and this is one thing we don't show, that we in the 1A community need to start building alliances with good law enforcement to be have them be able to talk to us and tell and expose, because they can't. We may or may not take a bullet, but they definitely are. They're gonna die. But if we can keep them an anonymous source and we can expose it and expose this, that is greater good. And unless you've lived this and understand it, it's so hard to explain it to the sheep that right? This is such bullshit. We're fighting such low end shit. We need to look at the bigger picture. Big Daddy, you look like you got something to say.
And he just
out.
Oh,
So
yeah, he jumped
I
off. What's up, man?
I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I was busy. I didn't mean to keep flicking the camera on and off.
What
It
do you
was
guys
freezing
think?
before. But
well,
so anyway,
I am sort of in agreement with you on that. The problem I've seen is the more the good cops have been coming out, and I've seen this because my uncle was game and fish, okay, and that's a marshal, so you know he was trying to go by the Constitution. It's something he swore to uphold when he was in the military, and he believes in upholding it against foreign and domestic enemies. And he went after one guy that was being a domestic terrorist and enemy against the Constitution, and went into this guy's house, shot the guy 4 times. The guy was not armed, and the guy came out saying he tried to shoot me. He tried to shoot me. My uncle went to fuck off on that. My uncle got reprimanded and told the next time he did something like that, he would be fired, and the guy got a commendation. So my uncle wound up quitting the Game and Fish Commission. So that's some of the things I do know is happening and has happened in the past, because that's what happened to my uncle.
see, I know with everything.
So how do we fight against that? How do we fight against that?
If there was a way in an alternate universe for internet or the access to internet to be dialed back to being a territorial access. I know there's all kinds of problems with this idea, okay, but it's just a thought in my head. If it was to be dialed back, and or if the citizen chose to, within the premise of NIMBY, not in my backyard, or rather in my backyard, dial their focus in from such a wide angle lens to a more focal, tightened lens to their state, their county, their city, whatever the case may be, however it is, and focus on those issues within the emergency management plan, the building of relationships with police officers, the determining if emergency medical services is going to be a revenue, emergency management services are going to be a revenue-based service, or if it's actually going to be a for the public benefit service, as opposed to the municipal corporations, et cetera, et cetera. Because without coming to a central focal area for every area to be able to focus on issues, everybody being focused and exposed to this overstimulated, lots of stimuli to process. Our brains are having to digest more information than we've ever been exposed to, in any sense of the word, to the point to where we're not able to actually, with a sense of acuity, focus on issues long enough to determine and tease out or peel the onion layers back to getting to actual solutions. And as long as that distortion is there, and with mainstream media and this oppressive control of disinformation and propaganda and everything else, and just a general sense of ambivalence, right? I believe there's a natural innate response to when we hear of something bad, or we see the train crash or whatever, to be like, oh my God. But has anybody noticed that feeling of oh my God is boom, done, over, on to the next thing, such as Minnesota it was saying earlier. You know, what happens in a minute from now is 3 days old, yesterday's news, a minute later, right? Because there's all this information coming in, just flooding the bandwidth of being able to process this information. And if we can get to a point to where we acknowledge that and we accept that and say, wait a minute, the best value I have as an individual is to try and maintain my sanity. And I know some of you are laughing like, holy fuck, defense talking about sanity. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Tammy, for having the nads to be able to laugh.
5150 defend.
But I mean, I'm known, right? I'm known, but they let me out every time. Remember this, folks.
Right.
Let's at least give credit where it's due.
They let you out.
So, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's coming down in my mind as a personal choice, a personal responsibility, and dedication to say, hey, where the most value I have as an individual is to actually manage my bandwidth responsibly and trying to find a way to be dedicated to getting to the solution and not getting lost in the cacophony of information and the distortion and everything else, to whereas it's no longer there. And then we're right back to, hey, nobody said anything and they came for these people, and nobody said anything and they came for those people, and I didn't say anything. So when they came for me, there was nobody else to say anything for me. And that's because everybody's just running around, just sucking up all this data, all of this stimuli, and not actually able to process it for some probative actual value to reaching those solutions and or preserving not only our future, but the younger generation coming after us.
Right. And I agree with you on that. And one of the biggest things that I can prove your point to that is the White River Watershed Act. I was part of that, helping getting that thrown down. It was a localized event in central Missouri all the way down into Arkansas, onto the western part of Arkansas. The White River and anything that had any way, shape, or form to drain into the White River, that's every creek, every whatever, tributary that could go into a tributary that went into the White River, whatever, was under attack, and they were doing a huge land grab, is what they were doing. We centralized our efforts. There was approximately about 600 to 700 people that were constantly working on it, with several thousand volunteers that would be on and off again. They attacked us. I'll tell you now. They attacked us hard. They tried to put us in jail. They tried to make up stories. They tried to run us out of money by giving us tickets that were false tickets, bullshit tickets, you name it. They were trying to do it, okay, because they didn't want that to stop. But we eventually got it stopped. But that was centralizing our efforts into one thing to make it stop. And yes, we did beat the United States government and made them quit with the White River Watershed Project.
I need a fucking whole pot of coffee for this stuff tonight, you guys. I'm just like, I'm in cloud nine.
Okay.
And then I'm way over here right now and over here. It's a lot to take in if you really sit down and really just try to like.
But Defend's right. We need to centralize. I'm agreeing with Defend on this. We need to centralize our efforts. Make sure we can get accomplished what we want to accomplish first. You got to determine if it's accomplishable or not, because there's going to be things out there you are not. It's just not going to be feasibly able to be accomplished, and you're going to have to learn to live with that. Okay, but go for what you can accomplish. And then hopefully later on, what you couldn't accomplish then, you might be able to accomplish because you already got the foothold set and the president set somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So to further my thought process here, when all of these topics are being spoken about on a multitude of levels, right? And I'll start saying some of the hot button topics or whatever, and I'm not asking anybody to dive into them or whatever and everything. I'm just throwing out there to try and get my point across. Abortion, right to live, Republican, Democrat, castle law, right to stand your ground, defend yourself, red flags, etc., voting, the election laws, all of these different various topics. And somewhere in there is preppers. When the shit does hit the fan, what is your plan going to be? X, Y, and Z. How do we have a conversation that says, okay, let's all not look neurotic here, and let's realize that yes, COVID came, and even in COVID, the one thing that we can learn from COVID is that we didn't start shooting each other up and robbing from each other toilet paper, right? Okay,
Well,
so
actually,
there are some very, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been situations where there were, but what I'm trying to say is what is the manifesto? How do we say, okay, well, let's think about our homesteads. Let's think about what's going on in our backyards. Let's have a plan if shit does go to hell. And how do we collaborate with our brothers and sisters and siblings, in adjoining states, whatever the case is, for invasion or whatever the fuck it is that the government was preparing for with these guillotines and these disposable coffins and all this the VXX thing and all that and everything. What is the list of priorities? How do we have is there a manifesto for moving forward in our daily lives while still being able to maintain some sense of sanity and processing this information as we're going through this in a collective sense, rather than it just being a fucking billion-piece puzzle inside a puzzle box shaken up all day, every day, and everybody ambivalent and nobody having any fucking clue, causing aggression, narcissism, distrust, disbanding, yada 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 yada. There's got to be something fruitful that comes out that is within all of this that we can kind of put together in a, hey, it's important to do this, A, B, C, D, sticking a camera in a cop's face, go and do this or do that or do that. Or where is the protocol, and what does that protocol look like moving forward? I think
myself personally, I'll tell you, I am always been a person, and I've stated it 100 million times. Prepare for the worst, always hope for the best. Okay, preparing for the worst. Have yourself a place to bug out to where you'll be safe or relatively safe. You may not always be safe where you go, because nowhere on earth will you be safe where that you can go, because they send a drone in if they actually truly want you. Okay, whatever. But go where there's relatively safe.
Call, Robert.
You have a food source, you have a clean water source, or the ability to have clean water, and have that as a backup plan. Okay, just in case the worst of the worst happens. Then once you got that set and you got that all ready to go, then have the ability to start working on something that's a little more hopeful, like maybe let's get the cops under control and make that your focal point, or let's get the government under control and make that your focal point. You see what I'm saying? That's the best way I could say. I started to learn how to handle. I already had the focal point of what is worst case scenario for me. Okay, and what I'm going to do. But I now have started to hone down on and sort of hone in on what I think I might be able to try to put out some information on, and maybe get people to turn their eyes open and see, and maybe make a difference. So That's how I handle it.
I think one of the potential first steps for people to wrap their head around moving forward with a sense of accomplishment, sense of deliberate moving forward rather than being caught up in all this overflooding of the bandwidth and everything else, is to limit their amount of time on the internet on a daily basis, focus on things around them, become familiar and reconnected. I've recently been looking at everything that I have and saying, you know what? I'm really lucky to have my van.
Mhm.
I'm really lucky to have my cell phone. I'm really lucky to have this cigarette that I'm about to light in my hand because I'll have a nick fit and go out of my fucking mind if I didn't have it. And I've been trying to take the advice from other people and trying to focus on the things that I am lucky for and that I am grateful for, and trying to find some sense of positive, healing vibes within myself and everything to try and look at things from a healthy perspective. And while you folks may see me on the internet, I've gained more an accomplishment as far as my own mental health state and trying to lean more on the positive than allow myself just to be subjected to the barrage of that cacophony of noise, that distortion, the internet and everything else. And I'm feeling that kind of like flexing of taking control of saying, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to fall to the wayside in the sense of ambivalence and cry about not being able to do anything about it later when I could have done something or at least work towards having the ability to do something about it now.
I agree with that. But when you know you got a place, if the shit happens, that you know you're going to be having some relative safety. Okay, you you'll be surprised the weight that pulls off your shoulders if the worst of the worst happens. And right now we're looking at the worst of the worst can happen any day right now. And I'm telling you,
do you know who in society isn't worried about the worst of the worst happening?
Me?
The homeless. We've
That's
been living it for fucking years.
I lived it. And I know. I lived it. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's what I'm trying to get people. I'm trying to not say that because as soon as you say homeless, people go, oh my God, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I won't have my curling iron tomorrow. Okay.
Well, yeah,
literally.
And so Minneapolis, I haven't even got the story out. They literally just made homeless illegal. Yeah. It's like they're camping in city parks. They can do what they want. They're free. They don't want to go to the shelters because they got to be drug tested. Hey, let's be honest. They're probably using something. Well, who cares? They want to be free people. Isn't that what our country was founded on? Isn't that what we fought against?
Not out here, bro. If you get caught covering up with a blanket, you get cited for camping.
In Florida, are you in Florida?
No.
Okay.
Not.
Is anyone from Florida?
I lived there for 30 years.
Okay. So if you sleep under a bridge during one of their rainstorms so I was in Doral or Pompano Beach area, so southeast Florida, on the tip. If you are under a bridge and you fall asleep waiting out one of the rainstorms, you will get cited, hauled in, and charged. I don't even remember what the charge is because you're waiting out a rainstorm. Yep.
It's vagrancy.
But you could go to a trailer, go in one side of the semi-trailer, get a prescription from a doctor, fill it through the other half of the trailer, get out on the street, and have that prescription of narcotics in your hand when you walk out the other end.
Well, they've changed that down there in Florida recently. They banned all that shit from happening. You got to go to a clinic now, and they're nailing them prescription writers, what they call prescription writers, left and right down in Florida. They started having almost 3,000 people a day dying just from narcotics overdose.
But
In the state of Florida, and they cracked down on it.
so that was 9 years ago. I lived in Florida. I actually sold. Here's the fun part. We tried to sell our law enforcement equipment. So we had light bar. Basically, we take a squad car, we'd roll it in from Ford or Dodge, whoever, and we'd outfit it minus the graphics, computer, radios, everything.
Mhm.
And Miami-Dade was so poor, they couldn't even take our equipment at cost, which is a 65 to 70% markdown off MSRP. Free installation, they couldn't afford it. Which is sad, right? People don't know the back end dealings. Hey, we'd have the chiefs come in and the city council come in, and we'd have a full bar, and we do the back end dealings with these people, and they couldn't even accept our deal at our cost, because we were a new company coming in from Wayland, Federal Signal, Code 3. I'm not going to name the company I worked for, but it was a new company to the United States. They own 90% of the market in Brazil. So if anyone really wants to dig into it, they can. But it's scary to see what kind of back end deals that go on in government that people don't really realize. And that's the tip, just the tip of what we're dealing with and the corruption. Like I said, us doing First Amendment audits and going out to a post office is, to me, it is kind of like the BS side of what we're exposing. If we're truly wanting to expose the corruption, we really need to dig into it. And we really need to stand together, because individually, we're going to die. I mean, straight up, we're going to die. We're going to be labeled as domestic terrorists. Our rights are going to be stripped. And
They're already doing it, dude.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
already doing it.
Well, and I'll be honest, that's why Rowdy is not going to go out, because he's got contacts. They already told him over a month ago, before the Biden administration came in, they're going to label all of us as domestic terrorists. They're going to label all of us, and they're going to take our rights away to do what we're doing. And departments I thought were going to be good. Like, I don't know if you guys watch any of the stuff I do. I hound on the city of Plymouth a lot. And like one of the last videos I put out, another Plymouth police officer not using turn signal. And people are like, why do you guys hound on that? Why do you guys hound on all this little things?
See, I'm with Minnesota News Now about this. See, I get labeled as a cretin. There's something wrong with me. Why would I do this? And all this other stuff. Okay, well, why are you doing this? But then, I'll even pull up and have a conversation with these guys about it. And they're like, oh, cool. Or I'll be like, hey, I want to go and file complaints. Jason can vouch for that too, because, I went in my police station, I filled out shit tons of complaints. And they got freaked out about it. They didn't know what to do. I mean, I got these guys texting and driving on their phones, roundabouts, going 45, 50 miles an hour in a 25, even in a school zone. While they're not responding to emergency or anything, they're just sitting there bullshitting, having coffee and driving down the road and shit. They're not doing anything, in this instant. Or, oh, they flipped their lights on to blow through a red light just to make it to the gas station to go get something to drink. And I fill all these complaint forms, and these guys are still doing this shit right now in my city, but they're doing it all over the other places. But you're in the wrong for following these guys around and actually holding these guys for accountability. But first thing they do, if they find something wrong with your vehicle, they come, oh, you have a third brake light out. Oh, you need a front license plate on this vehicle. And then they have official means to retaliate back to you. So that means, like, if you guys are doing this stuff, or like we're out there doing this stuff, we got to make sure all of our ducks are in a row and shit, in this case, because any little violation they can find to get on you, they're gonna come after you for that, and it's gonna be a shit show.
Dude, they'll make up something on you. If they really want you, they'll make up something on you. I know I had it.
Believe me,
Had it
I'm
happen to
an
me.
example of that. Yeah.
Okay,
Look
so
what they did to FTP.
Big Daddy's talking about like local enforcement, right? I feel for Big Daddy because a lot of things are, my big thing is, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Don't tell me that the laws are there to be enforced for the public benefit, yada 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 yada. But yet the people that you're giving the badge and the death belt, the death belts to, the authority to shoot and kill and incarcerate and sexually grope fellow Americans every time that they're arrested, grabbing their nutsacks, and that these people are better and are setting the example when all we're seeing is a piss poor fucking example, right? So you got one level there. Then you have people like Pajama Audits is somebody that pops up into my head. And I'm sure there are various other names that you gentlemen can come off the top of your head that are doing some real in-depth paper trail, right? There's Teresa Richards in the community who has a knack for doing public records and kind of getting into the administrative of things. That's a whole nother way. That's another form of activism, right? In the 1A community, there isn't very much. You don't see somebody say, "Hey, I'm a 1A local law enforcement auditor. I'm a 1A class A, and whatever that class A is, I look at the expenditures. I'm a math guy, right? I look at the budgets. I look for the information and the budgets and everything of why these things are happening, and I work with the 1A local enforcement auditor guy who's trying to figure out why these cops are getting away with doing X, Y, Z. We find the correlation by following the money. Or somebody saying,
I don't like those titles.
This type of auditor. There's no subject categories. There's no focus. There's no concentration. There's no specialties. It's just kind of all lumped into this 1A community.
Well, see, I disagree because I don't see myself as a 1A anything. I mean, I guess if you had to start putting labels on it, sure, I'm a 1A independent journalist. I'm a 1A Christian. I'm a 1A fucking certified asshole at the mouth. But here's the truth. I'm a constitutionalist. My main focus, dude, isn't the 1A when I have my camera out. It's the 14th Amendment, right? I want to see equal opportunity. I want to see equal enforcement. I want to see non-bias. That's what I'm after. If I get arrested, I expect not to be violated against my 8th Amendment and be, treated cruel and inhumanely. I don't think that, that's like saying because I pack my pistol on my hip, I'm a second A guy. That's not necessarily true. I'm just an armed citizen at that point. Am I, expressing my constitutional right? Absolutely. But, I think when you look at it, dude,
like we're weird when we even pack, you know what I mean? If we're even carrying properly or we have a CCW permit too, it's like a crime for some of these people. Like I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Only if you let them treat you that way. I mean, I just had literally, I was just talking to FTP, like whether he wanted an exclusive or not. So the other night we took a look at some camera footage of me having it out with a cop. Okay, he wouldn't identify. He was being a dick by shining his side light all up in my camera, and so I had a talk with his sergeant. Well, when a sergeant arrives on scene, his sergeant wasn't really pissed at dude because he wasn't IDing. I'm sure he was going to have a talk with him like he said he would on my behalf. However, the sergeant was upset because when he arrived, he had to inform that officer that there was a gun on scene. Why was there a gun on scene? Well, because a judge told me recently I needed to be safe, so I feel it appropriate to have armed security when I go out filming now. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, welcome to the world we live in. That's how serious shit is right now. And
so Bird,
yeah,
Bird, I'm not saying that people have to have labels. I'm using this merely as a conversational form of articulation, as one of the with the talk that I was speaking of before of this overflooding the use of bandwidth, right? The amount of focus that we have. And when I say that there aren't specialties in the rights, right? There are these very big groupings. And I think some of the message or some of the effective activism, the unified voice, is getting lost in the cacophony of everybody just saying, I'm an activist, or I'm standing up for the Constitution, or I'm standing up for my rights, and there not being any focus on particular subject matters in the wide berth of government.
Well, let me express why I think that's important, though. Like, so you see that as a negative thing. I see that as a positive thing, because an attack on your constitutional rights, right?
I don't mean it negatively. I'm just saying that that's one of the aspects. Yeah.
Okay. I think if we put too much focus in on one thing, though, is all I'm saying, right? Like, if we don't look at the Constitution and the violations to it in a broad spectrum and try to stand up for it in its entirety, I think that we lose, because it's the same thing as creating NFC versus AFC, Democrat versus Republican, right? You have all these guys trying to focus on the 1A, then you got all these guys focusing on the 2A. You got all these other guys, advocating for better cell conditions because of the 8th Amendment. So when we start kind of dividing it, there's so many different movements along with what's going on. But if we step back and take a broader perspective and just say, you know what, I am a constitutionalist. I do believe in a supreme law of the land. I do believe that supersedes all this bullshit regulation that they're passing that are infringing on those very rights. And if we stick to that, we still go to church on Sunday. If we stick to that, we can still say fuck the police when they're fucking up. If we stick to that, we can still film and have freedom of press without having to have some CBS fucking credentials. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we went all the way around is all I'm saying.
Okay, Bird, would you agree with me, at least, or what is your answer to this? Would you agree with me that there are a number of individuals spread across the YouTube platform who have specific skill sets that may be better or have more experience than somebody else in a different skill set?
Absolutely. Demolition Ranch all the way to A. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real fucking 1A about the dude other than maybe freedom of speech and what he does on the weekend.
And would you agree with all of these subject matters that the nexus to all of these subject matters is the Constitution?
Say again. You have to repeat that question.
That all of these subject matters, that what connects all of them together in relativity and that make them relative to each other is the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm speaking to is when you have all of these various topics or skill sets of people who are all trying to compete with the YouTubeism of things, clicks and views, the sensationalism, some people are better at editing, some people are better at doing the paper trail, some people are better at having the balls to stand in front of the cops. They're not necessarily rich, but they can do something. They're choosing to do what that something is. That there isn't a linking or traction. The sense of accomplishment, so to speak, is individualized. Oh, the Butusai. Oh, he's Turner Driver, right? Eric Brandt. Oh, Westminster. The right to say fuck the cops, whatever. Jury nullification, right? There's all these individual pockets that we can point to and refer to and say, hey, these things inspire us, and I want to stand up for what my rights are. But there are many other possibilities or many other aspects that could be brought into the fold, not only in an educated sense, but to also create traction, such as being able to say, hey, Minnesota Guardian is having this issue in Minnesota, and he doesn't know where to begin or whatever. He's alone by himself. What's the best thing that he could possibly do with his time before he turns into a ravenous, psychotic fuck with all of his trained experience and everything, and may lose his fucking wits one? How do we support that guy? oh, well, maybe he could find out whatever this information is related to X, Y, and Z, and the person that we can refer that person to that has this skill set, who is known for this, is X, Y, Z. In other words, there's not a catalog of information. There's not, and I hate to say the word organization because we all know what the fear is in using that word, but it's extremely disenfranchised, but yet claimed to be a franchise as activism, standing for your rights. And I think there's a huge lack of traction or gelling, unification of us as individual citizens. And without that, I don't see how we succeed. And stop.
Anyway, I just wanted to say goodnight to everyone. My shuttle loads end up canceling for the night, but I got to be back up at 4 a.m. So, Jason, I'll talk to you later, man. Fen, take care.
Have a good night.
Peace out.
Take care. FTP, pleasure always. Bird, thank you for the amazing work, my friend. I donated whatever I could. Spare this.
No,
week.
thank you guys. Hey, know this. I am at 47% to my $2,600 goal right now.
Yes.
Wow.
I couldn't ask
You
for.
were just at 19% earlier.
It really helps.
Yeah, earlier today. Yeah.
People helping.
Yeah, every
Damn,
penny
I'm
helps. We
so
had a couple of
happy to hear
huge
that,
hunters. You know, like I'm going to be hanging out with SpongeBob a lot more. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, dude. There's an overwhelming support. But you know what? This is where we have a real victory here. You know, when I reach that goal and I pay for that attorney, and that attorney gives you guys all some words on, you know, how he's going to handle my defense, and you know, ultimately, we thank you at that point. You know, as a whole, as a group. Okay, understand this: the DA is going to be taking me to several different trials, knowing that we the people paid for my defense, as we the people is trying to prosecute me. That's gonna hurt his feelings, I'm sure. So you know, we win that.
Hey, I'm on my 5th attorney, man.
Damn.
Well,
you know, I was real lucky. I scored a good one this time. I've gone through a lot of attorneys in my life. By far, I'm most impressed with the current law firm that I'm working with.
Cool.
Well,
I'm
I'm proud of you. In Minnesota, we don't have anybody. If you're white, they don't care. And you know, it's sad to say, because apparently, if you're white, you don't have any civil rights. And I don't know how it is in Wisconsin. Big Daddy, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to find that video I shot. I don't know what happened to it. I'm still looking for it.
Man.
My hard drive crashed, and I think I lost it, but I'm still looking for it. So that's what's taking me a little bit longer. But honestly, you know, I can tell you.
Sorry, one. No, Kitty.
Get him, Kitty! Get him, Kitty! Get him!
No.
Get him, Kitty! Get him!
Look.
Leave me alone.
How do you feel? How do you like being beat up by a pussy?
Look, I feel your pain right here, man.
That
This
made my
is
night.
mine.
Daddy, that pussy whooped your ass. I'm just telling you.
This one's my pain right here. This one's my pain right here. So
Like, I had I didn't think I'd ever get attached to Cat, but like she had a brother and we had to put him down. You know, there was he was 40 pounds. He was mixed with a Mancoon. And he's a big boy. He's like the size of a Beagle, right? And then it was like having a dog. And she's like the runt. But like ever since, like, I feel bad for her. That's all. She's lonely now. But it's just like, fucking get the fuck off.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I found this one. Oh God, the claws.
Yep.
This one right here. I found her about an hour west of Minnesota, and she's mixed with Maine Coon too. I swear to God, she thinks she's a dog.
Yeah.
But she's you know, they're the most loyal, understanding creature you can ever find as a contractor. I feel like she they don't care. They're just happy to be with you.
This one's just way too happy some days.
Yeah. But yeah, they're better than people. You know.
Just trying to make biscuits in my nuts. Get go. God. So sorry, you guys. I gotta get to bed. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good night.
We all need
All
to
right,
get to
man.
bed, man. I'm so happy I could help her out a little bit. I really hope I really hope that I helped you out there.
I think the chainsaw's coming to get me. Alexa, play chainsaw sounds.
Well, mine too. I get yelled at too, so don't think you're the only one. I gotta go.
No?
Oh, there it is.
Well,
I'm working, honey. I swear.
You better get going. You better get going, Big Dad.
Oh, that's
FTP.
fucking hilarious.
I think the cat ratted you out.
Yep.
The gods have spoken. The Saw gods.
FTP.
Can you hear me?
Anyway, I'll see you guys.
I hear you.
Have a good one.
Yep.
But Jesus, yeah, that is. We're not gonna hear over that.
Yeah, FTP. I called your PD when you were doing your live stream with the car pit maneuver. Asked them as you were live. Told me your link to view it. Asked to do an on-camera interview. Why their officer that failed to identify that kicked you out of that area. Asked them to do an on-camera interview. Talked to them 2 days later. They declined. Said they have a great relationship with their community and have no reason to have an on-camera interview.
Wow. Same thing with James. It was nothing has changed, and that's the good old boy system.
So, one thing with me is I'm not afraid to dig into the bullshit. So my address is 100 miles north of where I actually am located. If you guys seen any of my videos where I'm in a job site, it's my work trailer. I have a tandem axle 7x14. It's a combination tiny home.
Some things are better off not said on the internet.
Hey, I don't care. Look, this is the thing. They can track us. If you guys seen the GeoGrid video I put out when I was down there filming, they can track us. They can find us. I've worked on that side. They're going to find us. The only way to be 100% completely not for them to find us is to us to be 100% off grid.
Right, to get rid of the cell phones and to get rid of the cars and the tags and the plates.
Yep.
It's physically impossible.
It is literally impossible. I could tell you how to be off grid 100%, but you would have to talk to me in person and I can tell you how to do it. Mike Morales talks about, the weather and, again, it's how much do you know makes you insane. Look at Einstein. Okay, Einstein couldn't even keep water in a cup, but he discovered what he discovered. Edison, didn't discover the light bulb. You look at, there's so much knowledge. The more you know, the worse you're off. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. I contacted out in Wright County, Buffalo, Minnesota, where they sat there and discovered a lot, and the cops are super cool. The deputies are super cool. Basically, what they told me, they're like, who you with? I go, independent. They're like, okay, well, you see where all the blue jackets are, mainstream. And I sat there and talked to a deputy as they were filming. I said, listen to each one of their broadcasts. Each one is going to have a different story of what comes out. And what's scary about that is that's what the sheeple are learning. And it depends on which one of them, right? And it's not the truth. And that's what's scary. You know, I think as a 1A community, and that's where Defend, you know, I respect what you do. I started following you. I'm going to start going through your videos. I was on the panel with you and Eric Brandt, with Jeff is Live.
You can stop bringing that up anytime.
Okay, I'm
You
just
know
saying.
my problem with Defend is he's had so many great videos, dude, and then he just privatizes the shit and you never find it again.
Yeah, see, I can't find any of your shit, man. I want to hear, like, I want to know.
If you want to see a good Defend video,
remember the conversation I was having with all of you as to what is the best plan moving forward, and you know, relating to exposure, how much you're putting yourself out there, et cetera, et cetera. I currently am dealing with my own situation as far as trying to figure out where I am with all of this. My recent roads over the past couple of years in this community, my current charges, 3 charges, in fact. So there's a lot of reasons why it's best for me not to be devoting my time to trying to learn how to do editing, which I was never successful at doing anyways. I just got a lot of things I've got to deal with my own issues and my own disabilities moving forward. And trust me, people, I am way more eagerly anticipating the day that I have the sense of freedom, that I am able to open up my videos, and I'm not worried about losing my channel, which has a lot of information on it that's necessary at present time. Bird, you can relate to this situation.
yeah, you preserve what you have to, and yeah.
Well, not everybody has the funds for the data that's required to secure that information, or the equipment to do all of that with a sense of relative ease living in a van. But I think that's enough to highlight the fact that my stuff isn't privatized because I'm ashamed of my work, or because I don't want to be a part of this community, or I want to withhold something that could be beneficial to the community. It's just a wise choice for me at this juncture.
I respect that, and I'll say that 100%. I don't know where you and Eric come from. I don't know. I don't know where a lot of us come from. I can tell you FTP has been with me from the beginning. I can respect everyone that supported me. I'm only continuing this. I mean, again, we all live in our mom's basements, and we're all in this to make millions of dollars off of YouTube, right? And I'll be honest, last time I looked, I think was a few days ago, I made $142. And I've been doing it for maybe 2 years almost. And what thrusted me into this was one of the guys, Minnesota Guardian. When I watched him being arrested, and that came from Eric Brandt, where he got arrested and he was on Streamlabs. The cops kept shutting his phone off. It wasn't working. He's got a lot of haters, just like Eric has a lot of haters, a lot of us. And I think it's really important. And I've spoke to a lot of people. There's 4 of us in Minneapolis that do this, Minneapolis metro area. And I think the worst thing... I misspoke your name.
I said I referred to you as Minnesota Guardian as the individual on panel, and I apologize. It's with Minnesota News Now. Go ahead.
We get confused a lot. So he's like 19, 20. The 3 of us have worked with him a lot to try to mature him. But I think there's a place for every single one of us. There's a place with FTP. I don't agree with FTP swearing all the time. And FTP, I'm sorry, but I think there's a place for you doing that. I think there's a place for every single one of us out there on this doing what we're doing, because each one of us has an individual life experience of how we handle things. I don't know what it's like in Sioux Falls. I know it's like in rural West Western Metro Minnesota. I know what it's like in Southwest Metro Atlanta. But you know, with growing, I've had so many people reach out to me to try to cover so many stories, and I have to maintain my job as a general contractor and as a YouTuber, and I don't want money from YouTube. I don't want money from people. And I say that, but then I sit there and I struggle with this because I feel like it's more important for me as a YouTuber to get this information out there. That how do I, like Amagansett Press, travel to expose bad law enforcement, but continue exonerating good law enforcement? I talked to a sheriff, and I think it was my third video I ever did at the workhouse here in Hennepin County. They called the sheriff's department out there. They called PD on me. It's a Saturday. I don't even remember. It was daytime. And I'm filming memory plaques, garden areas, things like this, things that no one knows about. And I'm showing this. But they ran me, I think they ran me through every single database in Minnesota, United States. I think the only thing I wasn't run through was Interpol, because they found my truck, ran my plate, and I learned a lot from this, right? Like we always do. And I'm not afraid because I have zero criminal record. I have not received a ticket. I have not received anything because, again, I worked on that side of law enforcement too, right? So then the one agency that I grew up with, that I did ride-alongs with, that started me into public safety, where half the law enforcement was on the fire department, right? That was the agency. So after that director of public safety or police chief retired, I went to church with. I know his family. I'm friends with him on Facebook. The new director took over after he retired, and now the old guy's back as a chief of the fire department. I grew up with his son. I mean, I grew up with all these people, right? And it disturbs me because that's who I grew up with. That's why I wanted to get into law enforcement, to help people. But I got on the fire side of it, and it's scary to realize, and in Wright County is our neighboring county out here, and when I tell them I was on the fire department, a fire explorer with this agency, the sheriff's department and PD is all like, oh, well, cool, you're one of us. And the sad thing is we shouldn't be looking at it that way. I've been targeted when I was down in Georgia as a volunteer firefighter because I had a light bar on my truck by a police officer that said, no one likes volunteer firefighters. No one likes you guys having red light bars on your trucks or vehicles and responding to calls. And the scary thing is we're supposed to be the same.
Did we lose sound?
We're supposed to be out there to help people, and
Okay, there you
are. I think we should be looking at ourselves as the front of the truth to help people, and each one of us has a different style. FTP has a completely different style than I do. Eric Brandt has a different lifestyle than I do. Defend, I wish I seen more of your videos, which I'm following you now after actually that last Jeff is live,
yeah,
or
like I
Jeff
said, we
is
can
here.
just move on from that.
Hey, I'm telling you, that got me to follow you, right? So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
All right, guys,
right?
I gotta go. I'll talk with you guys later. I'm gonna give somebody a ride as their car broke down 2 days ago, and it's freezing out here. And I promised I would give them a ride, so I'm going to do that. Thank you guys for your opportunity to have this conversation. Hope the people in chat are considering hitting that link for the Birds Legal Fund. It's awesome to see the motivation in the community and the support
Yeah,
and getting them up
because
close to 50%. And Tammy, I'll talk to you later, Bubba.
hey, I'll tell you what. Just
All right,
I
Defend,
was in
thank
his
you.
chat. I was just in his chat earlier today, and he was at 19%. So whoever helped him out that much, thank you.
Awesome.
And I respect every one of you. I respect you, Defend, too. I appreciate all of what you do, too.
Have a good one, guys.
Good
You
set,
have a good
Defend.
night,
Have a
man.
good night. Yeah, if you guys want to check out a badass banger video, dude, that Defend
GD
did,
is so fun to fuck with.
you can check him out, dude. I posted it on my
He's
channel. It
losing
should
his
probably be
trolling.
available.
He don't understand. He needs to go and get new trolling. His edge is just going away so bad because he hasn't got anything new to troll with. It's funny as hell.
Well, and I think that's the thing too. I think we're all, and when I first started this too, and I'll say this, I was hung up on the trolls, right? I was always trying to fix, and I tell everyone this in almost all my videos. I respect, and I learned this the hard way. Being in the fire department, we respect constructive criticism. So if you leave a comment like "F you," where do you grow from that? But if you go, "Hey, I don't want you doing this," or "I think you should do this," or "I think you should try this," I respect that, right? Because it gives me an avenue to grow and learn from.
Right. That's one of the things I try to tell him about is trolling. He keeps trying to get me to go find stuff for him where I tell him to go find it. But yet then he don't want to go do it, and he just wants to make up a story. That is not constructive. That is just ignorant and stupid. And now,
right?
I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, you need to quit doing this," and be not so nice about it. Okay. Or, "Hey, you might want to think about it this way, fucker." Things like that. And you know what? I give it a thought. Because, like you said, it's constructive. If I do it,
right,
maybe not. If I do it, then you might have made me a better person in your eyes. Just saying.
Right. And and I've had someone reach out to me, and I contacted them, and it's out of southern Minnesota, I think Mankato area, where I had a lady that she's got a criminal record, and we all know how that goes. Once you get in the system, you never get out of it. And the cop illegally went into their apartment. The audio, for some reason, on the dash cam got corrupted. And so I was talking to a family out of, they actually were helping her get her child back, got transferred to another county up here in the metro area, about 100 miles away. And I'm like, look, I'm not an attorney. I'm not. I can just give you what I know. And the family that's helping this lady out is out of, I think, North Carolina. And it's amazing how I think, each one of us that do this, I mean, I never thought for 1 minute when I picked up my phone to start recording would start reaching out to people that needed help and just advice or, hey, keep or support, keep fighting the fight, or, hey, if it was me, this is what I would do. And I think that attorneys and our court system has corrupted so many people from afraid of.
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry. No. I was thinking out loud. I'm sorry.
But corrupting, giving what you personally would give advice to. It's like FTP. I drove through South Carolina when he was out here. I tried to meet up with him when he was down at 38th in Chicago, over by Cup Noodles, and did the march. I so bad wanted to meet him. Like, I'm starstruck by every single one of us that do this, right? And it's weird because we're all just human beings. We all
Mhm.
just decided to pick up the camera and start the channel, right? You know, and that like, I respect every single one of us that do it, regardless of our style. Like, I might not agree with FTB swearing at everyone. That's not my style. But hey, guess what? We need FTP. We need Defend. We need Eric Brandt. We need someone walking around on the street corner with the pig costume and, you know,
Or
happy fuck the cops day.
or in a ghillie suit.
Or in the ghillie suit, standing there with the camera where no one suspects that person. Or
No,
I
he,
mean,
the person I'm talking about actually got seen quite well.
Dude, whatever. Like, all I got to say about that is, who do you guys know that would actually be crazy enough to throw on a ghillie suit and go film cops? I mean, that
You?
sounds crazy.
right. Like, we need all of us to do this. And the argument that I had with a few different people here, where does it? So when you do a First Amendment audit, like, I don't like First Amendment audits. I'll be honest with everyone. And I'm putting this out there for the world to hear. I've told this to cops. I told this to multiple people. I don't like First Amendment audits, personally. But I think there's a time and place, and I think if they're done right, they benefit everyone. And if they're done wrong, they hurt everybody. Just like everything in the world. So what I do, and one thing I like, is going out with Capital Transparency and Minnesota Guardian. They go out and do the First Amendment audit, and I go out there with them to be a journalist to film them doing their First Amendment audit. So here's the difference, right? So a First Amendment audit is an act of redressing a protest, right? So you're under a protester. And if you're out there to film them, you're a journalist doing a story. There's a difference, right? So the Supreme Court hasn't come out to say there's a divide, but a justice, and I don't remember which one, it was back in the day, should journalists have more than the general public, right? More access, because they are doing a journalist. Because you don't want a billion people walking through a crime scene, but you want one journalist there, or two or three, to put that out there for the million people, right? So we have to learn when we're doing this to grow every single time we're doing this. And in Minnesota, it's really, really tough with COVID, right? Some police departments, and I can tell you how you can look at the departments, if they're for transparency or if they're not for transparency. If the police department is closed down and locked down, they're not for transparency. If the police department is open and you can go into the lobby and you can still do normal day-to-day operations with maybe some sort of precautions, they're for transparency. I'm going to go out to Sioux Falls. I'm going to get out there. You know, I don't even know. I think it's like negative like 10 out right now. In Sioux Falls, it's probably close to the same. But I'm going to get out there this summer. And I'm going to tear into this agency. But I have a different way because I know how cops think, right? I know how they work. So I'm going to turn to them a different way than maybe FTP. And I think that's where we need to come together as a community, to each one of us come at them at a different angle to tear into these agencies, because we're exposing the corruption. We're exposing the back from Jim Crow laws. We're exposing this, and we need to use every single part of what we do to expose these things. And I think that's where, if we continue with this intermingle fighting with each other with these 10% of disagreements and 90% of common ground, that we're fighting each other over, and we need to set that aside and go, look, it's great we disagree. Like, I don't agree with dropping the F-bomb 100 times, but I need FTP to drop the F-bomb 1,000,000 times at these officers to see how they react. And I need to be a second camera person there to expose them violating his rights. You know, we need a third camera over on the other side just to be silent. We need a fourth camera on the other side of the road to be there to document the incident that we originally went out for, because they're tied up with FTP. I'm tied up with the officer in FTP, but the fourth camera person is standing out there exposing what's going on. It's like the 3%er movement, right? The mainstream media and governments demonizing these people, saying, hey, 3% of our global our U.S. population can overthrow a tyrannical government, not by physical force or not by violence, but that's not what mainstream's putting out there. We need to have all these things in place to expose the public, to steer the sheeple. Like you guys know Audit the Audit, right?
I don't know of it. I've heard the name. I don't know him.
Okay, well, ATA, he gives his grades and things like that. He doesn't even go out and audit. He takes all our videos of every single police interaction, and he digs into it. We need these people to be on our side. And one thing, I've personally talked to him, and he said that one thing, and this one thing stuck with me. It doesn't matter what we're doing, but if we don't get the community on our side, we've lost the cause. So if we need to work really hard, and that's one thing mainstream does, right? They already have, so they're losing them, right? They're losing the community. I mean, I don't know how many of my clients I've talked to go, I don't watch mainstream news because it's all bullshit. I don't watch mainstream news because it's all lies. I don't watch mainstream news because it's an agenda that they're pushing. We have
that's the problem,
ability.
though. They're trying to silence, though, me and people like you and any other person that has a different opinion of them. Hell, they tried to silence me for using their own damn opinion now. I mean,
I can tell you right now.
Do a live stream now because I said word for word on a video what Biden's press secretary said.
Well, and that's the problem. So we need to look at multiple different avenues to stream, right? Like we need to look at BitChute. We need to look at uncensored platforms where we're not going to make money. So we need to expand our thought process on this and go, hey, YouTube is going to censor us, right? Like I'm pretty sure that FTP, thank God he's hosting this. But
right now they're in the process of trying to get rid of MeWe.
Yep.
Okay. And that's the other platform, one of the other platforms Masters Reports is on, by the way.
Yes,
they're in the process of trying to get rid of Get and Got. Then we're two other platforms.
There's Twitch.
Like 3 or 4 of them right now. They're in the process of shutting them down because they're trying to get them shut down.
And I've talked to one of my clients, and I told him, I said, why don't we start our own YouTube platform? And he goes, because honestly, the server, he and I can't tell you who he works for, but he works for a huge financial institution as one of their head IT people. Yep. And so I mean, as a contractor, I meet so many people, and I'll be honest with you, majority of them are Muslim, and I've learned more about the Muslim faith. And I've got friends that are Jewish. I've got friends that are Christian. And what the divide is, again, the divide is politics, religion, and, and then thought, right? Knowledge. And I'd love to have people communicate with me. My email is on my About page. Anyone wants to reach out to me, I always tell people, please reach out to me.
Okay, well, then I'll go to your About page. I got some stuff. I want to email back and forth with you, too.
Yeah, definitely. I'll share you my phone number. I mean, it's minnesota.news.now@gmail.com. We all got to be careful. But, the thing is I actually stopped by. I went out to Mount Rushmore. I took my girlfriend and her kids out there during the springtime, and I was hoping to link up with FTP, and Like all of us, we're all busy. I've stopped at almost every Home Depot in Minnesota. I think I got 2 to cross off my list, and I stopped out at Sioux Falls, and I was following a cop out there, and my girlfriend's like, "Nope, you're not gonna do it." And I was following a cop out there. I'm like, I got to, because after what happened to FTP, and I've been down to Atlanta, Asheville, North Carolina. I reached out to NC Tyrant Hunter Jeff. I think that they're developing a new thing, which Rowdy Podcast and I tried to do with U.S. News Now, which turned out to be a con. But I think, and like all of us say, it's hard to unite because, again, if you look at U.S. government history, they all look at, like terrorism, hot button topic. I was on the terrorism task force, believe it or not, when I was down in Georgia. Met with Georgia Bureau of Investigations, FBI, multiple resources I was part of. So I get it. I know how to talk like them. I know how to think like them. I know how government operates. So does Rowdy. He's a ranger. He's just not active. There's no former ranger. You're just active or you're not.
Right. That's about like a Marine.
Same as a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
So Rowdy, and here's the scary thing, because he's got connections. They told him, do not go out there and do First Amendment audits. Don't do Second Amendment audits. Because with the new administration that's coming in, they are going to label all of us as domestic terrorists. Mm-hmm. And we're all going, and especially if you have a platform or if you have government training. I said, fuck it, let them bring it on. Come on, come after me. Okay. I personally made that decision. He made the other decision. He's not going out to audit. He's got to lay low for a while. It hurts him. But, that's the problem. What is it actually hurting? I had a hard time. Who was it down in Tennessee that was auditing? I can't think of the channel or the name. The Army base down there. And then they made him delete his video, but he was live. I don't know if you guys seen that. It was Fort Campbell.
I missed that one. Like, there's so many people,
There's so many of us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that kills me is when they sit there and they go, "Hey, it's suspicious." Well, there's a huge difference between suspicious and suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people out there videoing, but what we've all missed is they have actually come out, and it's not a DHS memo, and I'm getting ready to try to dig into it. I think it is the Department of Homeland Security put out there, which supersedes the DHS memo of government buildings, that they should be getting the information, anyone filming government facilities, that we need to be put on a watch list that are filming these buildings.
Yep.
And it's scary because DHS says one thing and Department of Homeland Security says something different. And with the DC thing that happened, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, FBI knew a month before. They refused, and I can tell this, being on the task force that I was on, we had information, believe it or not, months before anything could have possibly happened, and it wasn't to do anything but pass information, and that's what it should be about, is passing information. If you've seen someone out there with something that looked like they had something, you were more alert to. But they refused to release it to DCPD. They refused to release it to any information and local agencies out there.
And
you guys there?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
All right, so
that's sad that they actually freaking didn't do that.
Right. And when I went to our state capitol here, Nothing happened. I was there for 4 or 5 days, talked to multiple troopers. In fact, I found out so much information about the Floyd civil unrest that happened. One of the troopers was there when they were slashing tires. In fact, he even told me, he goes, we didn't even slash. All right.
What the fuck is this about? What are we watching? 13, 12, 11. 5 seconds early.
So anyway, some of the troopers were talking